Joel in Jamaica, actually. It was a missions trip. He was on the missions trip, and I was one of the leaders down there helping to run the teams that came down. And I wasn't actually supposed to be there. A friend of mine had called and said, hey, can you stay extra? I've got a team coming down from Alberta, and this guy was one of the guys on the team.
And I met Jaime, as I said, on the mission trip, and going down to Jamaica, actually, I wasn't serving the Lord. I wasn't fully engaged, and my heart was going after the Lord. But there was just this strong inkling on the inside that I need to go on this mission trip. Again, not knowing fully what was going to take place. And I'm so glad that I went, because there was lots of things that transpired on that trip. But one of the beauties was that I got to meet this girl, Jaime.
So meeting me was better than going to soccer?
Absolutely.
My first impression of Joel. Okay, well, I have to be honest. Let's just get this out there. I am 4 years older than him, and I was a leader on the trip. But my first impression was definitely that he was very cute. But obviously throughout the trip, I noticed him just interacting so well with people. He's such a people person. I noticed his love for the Lord, even though at that point I didn't even know he was just coming back to the Lord, but he was responding to every single altar call. So yeah, I definitely noticed him.
Right. So my first impression was, wow, this girl is something else. I mean, first of all, she's been living in Jamaica at that time. She's been working at an orphanage. So not only just her natural beauty, I mean, sweat and all, she was gorgeous to look at.
It's a hot climate
It was a very hot climate and very muggy, but man, she was something else. And then, but on top of that, her passion for the Lord, her love for people, her deep love for people, and the way she just ministered to these children was really just something that even caused me, even on this trip, to open up to her and just share some things that I was working through in my life. So that was my first impression of her.
How did I know Joel was flirting? Well, he kept it together for most of the trip, and then on the last day, we were having, their team was having a day of fun at the beach. And Joel started pushing me off one of those trampoline things in the water, and all of a sudden I thought, wait a second, is this guy flirting with me? It was the last day, so I let it slide. And later that day we were playing a card game, Dutch Blitz, and we were on a team, was in partners, and he was hiding his cards on my leg as an excuse to touch me. Now, I do not condone cheating in card games, but I thought it was kind of cute.
Yes. But how did we get paired up? That's what I want to know too. Is it just you had this, I want to be with Joel? I bet you chose me.
No, I'm sure it was the other way around.
It's the other way around. It's got to be the other way. And yes, there was some flirting going on. I thought that's how you flirt, is you tackle this girl that you're interested in, tackle her off a trampoline and throw her into the ocean. Seems right to me. And
I know you were a little bit younger.
It was a little bit younger, right? At recess, that's what we did. I don't know what you guys thought, but that's what we did at recess. So, and it worked.
So after the trip, we kept in touch. You were the first one to reach out, actually.
Yeah, I was. It was a couple. I emailed you, and there was another guy that was on the trip, and I emailed both because I didn't want to just single you out thinking that I was pursuing or going after. I remember messaging in this email, hey, how are you guys doing? And
I miss you guys.
I miss you guys, and you know, it's not the same as Jamaica, but trust you're well. That was my first email out to you guys. And then, after that, we connected over MSN Messenger.
So the pursuit. Yes, I would say he was persistent.
Yes, persistent is a good word. I remember then after we had met, we've been MSN messaging or emailing back and forth, that my dad and I went to a conference in the area that you lived in. I remember phoning her. I was super nervous, super like, hey, Jaime, it's me, Joel. I'm in your area. I was wondering if you wanted to go out for, get some lunch or something. And I'm so glad that you had an afternoon off, or you got that, you rearranged your schedule to come meet with me. And our first date was at
Red Robin for Clucks and Fries.
Clucks and Fries.
See, I didn't know it was a date. So I went and picked up Joel. We had such a good time.
We did.
So it was my first summer in full-time ministry. You were serving the Lord then and just going
yeah.
hard after him. And I just remember that lunch being so refreshing, thinking, man, I just had the best time
Yep.
with this 18-year-old guy.
I try to avoid the age question at all costs. Just
Yeah.
keep that under wraps.
But we
and just,
talked about like our relationship with the
Yep.
Lord. We talked about working in ministry, and man, it was a good time.
It was. So then after that, I obviously flew home again. And I remember just talking to my parents and just going, man, like, this girl is amazing. And I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna just throw this out there. So I sent her an email and just said, hey, Jaime, curious if you'd be interested, or I would like to come out and visit you in November of 2006. I don't know if you said an email like that. I didn't say it that way, but it was just, I wanted to come and see you. Can I come? Your
And I
response
said no.
was? No.
Here's the thing. I was in university, 3rd or 4th year. I was busy that time of year, busy time for a university student. So I said, no, that's not gonna work for me. And you said,
And I replied back and said, these are the only dates that work for me, so choose one.
yeah.
So I gave her the ultimatum, either this date or this date, and she chose this date.
So he came.
So I came.
We had an action-packed weekend.
We did, full pack.
First of all, he came for what? Just barely over 24
Oh, yeah, I
hours.
think it was like 30 hours.
Why was that trip so short?
So the reason it was a little bit short, not that I didn't want to see her. So I was again talking it over, especially with my mom. I was like, hey mom, so I want to go see this girl. And she thought, you know what? Let's look at some flights, because if it doesn't go well, the worst thing that you could possibly have is that you were there extra long and that it don't go well, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I got to get out of this place. It's awkward. So I booked a flight on Friday evening. I got in kind of later on, and then I left first thing Sunday morning, and it was, I think, a flight at 5:30 a.m. So it was just a quick whirlwind of a trip. So that was the reason why it was so short.
So what it did for me though, is it definitely left me wanting more.
Woo!
We had such a good time. The only way that I can really describe that weekend is I fell hard.
Oh, come on, say it again.
Okay, you know, I fell hard. So leading up to that, I mean, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was pursuing the Lord. I was starting to work in ministry. I was very solid in my single season. And I think that's something that was so important
Yeah.
about the timing of the Lord when we met. We were both whole people. We weren't looking to find ourselves in another person or find satisfaction or fulfillment. I knew that I was complete in him. I was really, like, it sounds cliche, but I was dating Jesus, and I was fine to do that for as long as he had. So I wasn't looking to date. And man, when you turned up at the airport that day, you picked me up.
I picked you up, and I
physically.
swung you. I physically picked you up.
And I felt my stomach drop, and it wasn't just because you're swinging me hard. I just thought, who is this guy? We had such a fun weekend. I was running an inner city bus ministry for kids at that point, and you came, and you were so
Just got
fun
involved.
to have.
Yeah,
We had a great time,
we did.
and I knew. I knew.
I knew.
Because I had
knew
told
too.
the Lord, I commit. I will
Yes.
not date again until you tell me. And sometimes Christians say that, and it's
Right.
just, again, a Christian saying, but this was true. It came from the heart.
Yep.
Lord, and I committed. I had not dated for a couple of years because I said, until you bring the one that you have for me. So I dropped you off at the airport that early morning. It was snowing.
Yeah, it was a crazy snowstorm.
We prayed together.
We prayed together in the car.
And you said, something along the lines of like, I've been waiting for a girlfriend that I can pursue the Lord with. And I was like, girlfriend, what? But I drove home. I flopped back up on my bed, and I said to the Lord, is this it?
Is this it? Yep.
And he said yes.
What if?
Oh my goodness, I will never forget that feeling.
Yeah.
I just lay there. I fell hard.
I like when you say
And
that.
I was studying for midterms, and I had to set a timer for how long that I could study for before I was allowed to have a 10-minute Joel break.
Ah, yes.
And I would just sit on the couch and think about you and go through the weekend.
Oh, sweetie.
But man, all it took for me was that little 24-hour trip.
Yeah, little
And I fell
over
hard.
24 hours. But it was the same on my end. I think
Aw.
for myself, because I had committed to the Lord, just as Jaime did. That Lord, I'm done going after the glittery things in this life. I'm done, Lord. I'm pursuing you. And there's that scripture, Colossians 2:10, that really became a a bedrock or a solid rock in my life, that I am complete in him through my union with him. And Jesus became my everything. Jesus was my pursuit. He was my passion. He was my desire in life. And so after, kind of feeling, hey, I gotta get to know this girl, and having those 24 hours with Jaime, and it really, that was a changing moment weekend for myself as well. Because after that weekend, how you just laid in the bed, I sat on an airplane and flew home and went to church service early as soon as I got home, went to church that morning, and just thought, what a weekend. And then I was a little bit mad at my mom. Mom, why did you make it so short?
I think I was a little bit mad at your mom
I was like,
too.
I could have gone a lot longer than this. But just in case. But anyways, I'm so glad that that's how it worked out. We both were seeking the Lord, and it turned out to be this way. And so while in our seeking, he aligned our paths together, and I'm so grateful for that.
That's very true. And one thing I'm very grateful for is that you pursued me. I think that's in the heart of every woman. We want to be pursued.
Yeah.
And sometimes Christian guys can just pray about it, or if the Lord wants us together, but you actually went after me.
Yep.
Even when I said, when I kind of held you at an arm's length, no, it's not going to work for me.
Right.
You pursued me.
I did.
And that was a big deal.
And that's good.
So I started dating Joel January 2007.
Whoa. No. September of 2006 is when I started dating Jaime.
Okay, so we started dating each other at different times. But in my mind, I started dating you that January when you said to me the words every girl wants to hear.
How do you do it?
Hey, Jaime.
Jaime, want to make this official?
It's a good thing I was already smitten by then, because those aren't such suave words.
Because I made it official at our first date when I came out for that prayer conference in September. But you just didn't get the clue then.
Right. You forgot to tell me.
Oh, that's what it is. I do apologize.
That's exactly.
That's what it is.
So we dated long distance.
We did.
We were 12-hour drive apart,
Yep.
so that was out. I don't like long drives. 1 hour
Right.
flight. We kept WestJet in business.
We did.
Whenever there's a seat sale, we snap those up.
Hit them.
One of the things I love, though, about long distance is we really, really developed a strong friendship. Mm-hmm. We talked on the phone.
We did.
Again, you didn't have a cell phone.
Right.
We talked and we talked and we talked.
Yep.
And
we talked some more.
I
had to learn how to communicate on that.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. Jaime, there was even a couple times where you on purpose, she wouldn't say anything on the phone just to create a little bit of that awkward silence, so that in that space, I think we're, July or August, and I'm asking her what her New Year's resolution is. So I'm just like, what do we say?
Yeah, you didn't woo me with your questions, that's for sure.
Yeah, right.
But we sure developed a friendship.
We did. We really did.
During that.
Because we had to communicate.
Yeah. So long distance had some benefits.
It did. I would never change that. I'm actually so glad that it was long distance, because I know for myself, not only the learning to communicate, but also learning to still have and pursue and do life. And then whenever I had the chance to see you, and once a month that I got to see you, man, we got to be together, and it was everything that we talked about all this time. Now it's like, here you are in the flesh. Now we got to just go deeper in that relationship. So I bought a ring, and I bought it in October, beginning of October. I remember it because we had some dear friends of ours from the States that were up here. And I remember I kept it in my pocket, this ring. I kept it, that, not the big pocket, but the little one that you guys have inside there. I kept that ring with me everywhere I went.
Why? Why did you do that?
I wanted it close by me so I wouldn't lose it. I was young.
The difference between men and women we're showing that early.
That's true. But I remember finally buying this ring. I was so excited, and I had the perfect date. I had to wait till I was 20 in order to do it. Otherwise, Jaime, she wouldn't say yes to a guy that was 19. Right? Is that correct in saying?
I think that's right.
That's fair in saying that. Okay. And so I remember I finally had this ring and planned this whole day out, and I was ready for that day.
So I picked Joel up from the airport. This is October 31st. He flew out after youth. He was coming out for a regular trip.
Yeah.
Like a planned trip. I had no idea that I was going to be proposed to. This was not on my mind at all. Again, 11 months. So I pick him up late at night. I moved back home to my parents after that point because I had just come home from international travel, and I wake up the next morning and Joel's gone. I'm like, I've been waiting to see this guy all month. Anyways, I went downstairs, I found a card for me, and it gave me a website to go to, and there is a video of Joel. Well, I go to the website and there he is, and he tells me he's planned this day of fun, and it's in honor of our upcoming 1-year anniversary. So that day, I was on a scavenger hunt, from going to lunch to getting my nails done to getting my hair done to all these different things. And the last clue was go get changed and be ready for this time and I'll pick you up.
Yep. I like to say she was being wooed and you didn't even realize you were being wooed. And so I remember, the weird thing is I knew where she was going all throughout the day. So, because in order to leave the next clue, sometimes it was in her car. So I kind of had to weirdly stalk her and watch her. So all of a sudden she went into that building to get her hair done, and I knew how to get into her car. So I put the next clue in her car. So as soon as she came out, there's another clue. Like what's going on here? And I remember knocking on that door, and there was this beautiful girl right there. And she only knows that we're gonna go and celebrate our 1-year anniversary. So I pick her up. I'm in this suit that I don't really wear a suit, but I picked you up in this suit and I took you to Vancouver and we went out for dinner, a nice dinner that was there.
And you were oddly quiet.
I was
over
oddly
dinner.
quiet.
I didn't realize it at the time, but I was like, something is different about him because you're normally very chatty.
It's true, and I'm glad you didn't hold my hand because it was really moist.
So after we had this fancy dinner, you said, what do you want to do?
So what do you want to do now?
We walked outside and you basically threw me
I pushed you in a limo.
into an open limo.
Right.
It was like a kidnapping.
It was.
But we went up, we were in Vancouver, so we went up a mountain and we got outside and you had specifically ordered a shooting star.
And you were captivated by this star.
Yes, the star shoots across the sky. Oh, look at this star.
And meanwhile,
I turn around.
And I'm on my one knee and I'm getting my words together. And then to get her her eyes off of the shooting star, she finally looks down on me and what are you doing? And I just give her this speech of how much I've fallen in love with this girl named Jaime, what she's done in my life, who she is to me.
And I said.
And she didn't go, oh, thanks. She went, does my dad know?
No, I said, did you ask my dad?
Did you? Yeah, did I ask your dad? And
I wanted to make sure he had permission.
Of course I asked your dad. Of course
so
I
you were
did
like,
that.
yes, I asked him.
Yes, I asked him. Now, answer my question.
So then I said.
And then you said,
absolutely yes. One of the best days of my life, getting proposed to by you.
Getting proposed to.
Only the Lord.
Only the Lord, and only the Lord could do that.
So now we've been married since July
2008.
See, he's the numbers guy in our
Right, so
family.
I know
He's
how
always
many
telling
years.
me I'm like, how long have we been married?
Yeah,
14 years, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
14 years. At this point, it's 14 years.
My life has been incredibly impacted by marrying the man that God had for me. I cannot imagine life any other way.
Right.
And I cannot be silent on the fact that I know you were the one God had.
Right.
And I am so grateful that I waited, and I'm so grateful that I submitted my love life to him.
Yeah.
And just said like, hey, direct me in your timing.
Oh man, absolutely.
I'm so glad that he cared enough to plan that for us.
So true. Well, we know like every facet of our lives are planned out before even a single day passed. So I'm so grateful exactly like how we were pursuing the Lord and he just brought our paths together.
Yeah.
My life has been changed for the better because I'm married to you.
Aww.
And I'm so thankful for you, sweetheart. So
Aw, smooch.
Yeah, smoochy. That's a little bit of our story and how
good God is,
we connected and how the Lord brought us together. There's no way we could have ever orchestrated that.
No.
A province apart, and now here we are.